as you can see that I have opened this website collab.research.google.com. This is a Google Collaboratory page, and this file is IPython notebook. IPython notebook is interactive Python notebook. So we will be implementing the Python code line by line, and we will be seeing the output that how it works, right? And let's check the Python version first. That by default, which is the Python version that we will be using in this coding section, and we will be understanding the basics of Python in this video in terms of variables, data types, and how does assignment operator works, all the basic things. Let's look into this now. So to check the version of Python, I have to run this command, Python hyphen version, and we have to put the exclamatory sign. Let's say that I was working with Python in command prompt. So I didn't need to put the exclamatory sign before this command to check the version. But on this Google Collaboratory platform, we have to write exclamatory sign before any command that we have to run. Okay, let's see which version is this. Shift enter. I have pressed shift enter. So this version is 3.7.10. So I will be working with the Python 3.x version only. Why? Because there is another version also, 2.x version. It may be 2.6, 2.7, but that is kind of outdated now, and we should better prepare with the Python 3.x versions. There are some advantages of using this. I will be coming to the advantage and disadvantage of Python 3.x versus Python 2.x within this code. But for now, let's continue. So after running this section, now let's write the hello world equivalent in Python. And I have written this print I love Python. So instead of I love Python, I could have written hello world. Then hello world would have been printed uh, the way we write hello world in any programming language by default, right? So just print I love Python will print I love Python in the output. Now let's play with some numbers. So generally, uh, in any other programming language, we have to declare the variable int x, and then we have to put the value equal to 1. Then printf statement is used in C programming, right? And cout command is used in C++. But in Python, we have to just write x in this interactive version. But otherwise, the way I had printed this I love Python with this print function, I could have written print and then in bracket x. So this x will be printed. So if I press shift enter in this, x value is printed as 1, right? And then if I do x equal to x plus 1, obviously it will be 2, and 2 will be printed. If I print this x value after x equal to x plus 1, then 2 is printed. Now let's see the use of variables, constants, functions, and operator using this sentence or lines in Python. So when we write these statements together, so these are this is one line, or so this x equal to 2 is one line, x equal to x plus 2 is another line, and it can also be called sentences in Python. So I have written these three sentences or lines of code, and if I run this, obviously the output will be 4, right? And within this variable is this x. Now I'm talking about these four terms. So variable is this x value, constant is my value 2, function is the print function, and operator is plus operator, right? And so this is how these four things are being used within these three lines of statements. Now what is the difference between .py and .ipython notebook? So when we are generally programming in Python, let's say you are working on a Python IDE, and you are saving the program of Python, the whole program you have written, let's say 10 lines of code, you have to save it, let's say code.py, right? But in this IPython notebook, IPython notebook is interactive Python notebook. So in this we are running code line by line. Instead of running it whole as a whole, we are running it line by line. So this is the difference. So even in this file section, there is this download option. This code can be downloaded in two forms: .py file, which is Python extension, and .ipython notebook, so interactive Python notebook or Python script. So this code can be downloaded in two types from this Google Collaboratory, and it is useful for us, right? And then what is the difference between sequential and conditional? So when we code line by line, in Python, it is called sequential code. But if we are putting some conditions within the code, it is called conditional. And based on the true or false statement, the output will be given. Let's see. So sequential step means that we are writing the 4 lines of code one by one, x equal to 2, then print x, then x equal to x plus 2. So all these lines will be executed line by line within this section. And then when you're printing this, you can see that there will be two x printed. X equal to 2 is printed first, and then x equal to 4 is printed, right? And this is how the sequential steps are being run. And if I want to use some condition, so let's say that I have used this x equal to 5, if x less than 10, print smaller, if x greater than 20, print bigger, and then print end. So within this, x equal to 5 is the initial value given to 5. X is the variable here. And if x is less than 10, the print smaller will be executed. And if it is greater than 20, bigger will be executed, right? And so within this, there are conditions. This is the first condition. This is the second condition. Otherwise, the sequential thing is still going on. First this will be run, then this will be run, and if it is true, then this part will be running. And if this was not true, then it would not have run this if inside of the if part, and then it would have checked this condition also. And you can see the indentation is also there. Within the Python, indentation matters a lot. For this if statement, you can clearly see that this print is somewhat inside that if, right, in terms of indentation. So this print is part of this if. And if there were 10 statements aligned with the indentation of this print bigger statement, then also those 10 statements would have run for this if only, because those 10 statements were part of this if x greater than 20. So in this, what will be printed? I hope you know that in this case, smaller will be printed, and then print end. Why print end will be printed? End will be printed because end is outside their statement. It has to run, right? So smaller and end are the two outputs here. Now let's see the repeated steps. So it's not that you can just run one statement, and maybe if you need to run the same statement again and again, then you can do it by using this loop. And let's say that x equal to 5, then while x is greater than 1, print x. And x equal to x minus 2 is part of while only. Why? Because it is having the same indentation as of this print x statement. So x equal to x minus 2 will be updating the value of x. It will be reducing the value of 2 again and again, right? And then end of while. And x here is working as a iteration variable, changing every time when the loop is running. Okay, so what will be the output? uh, X equal to 5, so the condition is true, 5 will be printed. And then x equal to 3, again while will be checked. So while 3 is greater than 1, true, 3 will be printed. Then again it will be going after the deduction of 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 is greater than 1. It is false. So only 5 and 3 will be printed in this. And then end of while. So these three things will be printed here. 5, 3, and end of while. Okay. Now let's see the constants. Now what are constants? Fixed values such as numbers, characters, and strings are called constants. So when I'm writing print 321, 321 is a constant, right? 3.142 is a constant. And even this A is a single character, and still it is a constant, right? And again, my name is Sahil. So this is also a constant because you're giving a string as a constant in this. Now you can use double quotes also, and single quote also. So if I write double quotes instead of single quote here, it will also work. So what will be the output? These four constants will be printed as it is: 321, 3.142, A, and my name is Sahil. Now moving ahead to the reserved words. Now these are some reserved words. Reserved words means that you cannot use reserved words as the variable names, right? So these are some of the words which you cannot use as a variable name, like we are using x again and again in the previous sections. So you cannot write false, none, true, and, as, assert, break, class, if. These are all these are all reserved words, right? These are all keywords in a way. You must be familiar with the term keywords if you have learned C or C++ earlier. But these words are specifically reserved with some function which has been already defined within the Python. So you cannot use these as the variable names. So what are variables, and let's see that how to name the variables. So let's say that I am writing x equal to 12.2 and y equal to 14. Now how are they allocated for us in the memory? So our compiler will take some memory in the background, to which it will label x, and the value 12.2 will be given. And similarly for y, that location, that random location which is assigned, value 14 will be stored in that location, and that will be labeled y. Similarly, if I put x equal to 100 now, so at that same location 12.2 will be replaced by 100. So now x equal to 100 is there instead of 12.2, but y is unchanged, right? So these are how variables are being stored. But now how to name our variables? So let's see the rules. Must start with a letter or underscore. Must consist of letters, numbers, and underscores. Case sensitivity. So I will be showing you the examples also, but first three rules are that how to name the variable, and fourth point is that what should not be there. If you are starting the variable name with a number, it will be wrong. If you are putting a special character except this underscore, then also that is wrong. You cannot start that variable name with that. And also you cannot put a dot inside the variable name. Let's say sahil.10, it cannot be one of the variable name. So these are the different variables that I have selected. You can see that the variable name is starting from underscore, abc small, abc9, capital A, small bc, then capital AB, then small c. So these are all different 5 variables. So even if ABC, ABC, ABC is being used thrice, still they are different because of case sensitivity. And all of these values will be printed one by one. So 10 to 50, one by one, all of them will be printed because all of them were 5 different variable names. Moving ahead now. Now mnemonics for humans. Now we know that friend can be variable, friends can also be variable. So these two different variables can be written for Python. But for a human, there is this plurality behind this thing, right? Single friend versus multiple friends. So for humans, it may differ, but for Python code, friend and friends are two just different variable names. It does not have any context stored with it. So let's say that I'm writing this code, this variable name equal to 10, the second variable name equal to 20, the third variable name equal to the product of first two, and then print. Now for Python, there is no problem. It can run this code easily and can get the answer 200. But let's say for humans, obviously for humans, it does not work. I mean, we have to even make sure that if this is same as this one, then this one is same as this one. So these things matter a lot. And then if I do the same thing using A, B, and C, it is quite easy for us. We are happy, humans are happy. But for Python, doesn't matter. For Python, this variable name versus the previous variable names are both equal. So answer will be again 200. But it is better to keep the mnemonics according to what we want. Let's say now the variable name is hours equal to 10, rate equal to 20, pay is equal to hours into rate. So the pay is equal to 200 rupees or dollars, whatever the currency is. But yeah, so obviously we are happiest when we see this kind of code because it is self-explanatory. We do not have to make sense out of A, B, and C and then understand that what is happening. So there are three methods of writing the same thing, and mnemonics help us. Mnemonics means that these kind of names, hours, rate, so all these things will be very helpful for us when we are doing the coding. Even for someone who is reviewing the code later on, this third section will be the easiest thing to review, right? Now moving on to assignment statements. Now an assignment statement means that it consists of an expression on the right hand side and a variable on the left hand side to store the result of the expression. So whatever is being calculated on the right hand side, it is stored on the left hand side, right? So let's see example. Now I'm just doing this thing that I'm printing the current value of x, then printing the rate and hours. So rate and hours is taken from the previous section, and then x is also, I want to take the updated value, whatever the x value is. Now in this case, x is on the left hand side also and the right hand side also. Now the assignment operator works in a way that it calculates the right hand side first. So the previous value of x will be used in right hand side in the right hand side, and the updated value will be kept in the left hand side, and the printing of x will be done of the left hand side, the latest value that has been calculated. Let's see what is the output. So if x was 1, rate and hours were 20 and 10. So the final value of x after calculation will be 31.419999. Moving ahead, operators. So operators, there are different types of operators, right? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, power, remainder. So these things matter. I mean, it depends that how you want to do the uh, calculation. And let's see that how it works. Now, if I do 5 star star 2, we have seen that star star is the power operator. So it means 5 raised to power 2, right? And 5 raised to power 2 means 25. So the output will be 25. And this 23 mod 5. 23 mod 5 means the remainder. So remainder will be 3, obviously. And 23 divided by 5. So in this, output will be 4.6. But if it was Python 2.7 version or Python 2.6 version, the output would have been 4. Why? Because in Python 3, automatically, while the division is being done, numbers are converted to float numbers. Otherwise, 23 was an integer, 5 was an integer, though the output would have been 4 only instead of 4.6. So in a way, Python 3 is better. Now, operator precedence rules. Now, this is the precedence rule that first the parenthesis will be the given preference, then power, then multiplication, addition, left to right will be done at the end after the addition is done. So let's see. Now you have x equal to 1 plus 2 into 3 minus 4 divided by 5 raised to power 6 and y equal to this. So according to you, what will be the output? Think about it, write on paper. Okay, so the output will be same. Why? Because we saw that the operator precedence says that the parenthesis is done at the first and then the power, then multiplication, then addition. So the brackets have been put in a way the precedence rules were there. So the precedence rules are being followed in the y value same as for the x value. So that's why the value is same. First of all, the parenthesis will be solved. So parenthesis has this thing, and first parenthesis is this one, right? The power function is having more priority than the multiplication or division, right? So 5 raised per 6, 4 divided by 5 raised per 6. Then after this 2 into 3. Then in the end, addition or subtraction, and left to right will be done. So whatever the answer is same. Then let's see the types of variables. So 5 plus 2. So these are two integers. These are being summed up and the output will be 7, obviously, right? And if I do Sahil plus Sharma, it will be again, the Python knows that it is now string. Two strings have to be added in a way. So when we say that two strings are being added, it means that they are being concatenated. And be careful about this space here. So I have intentionally left it here because Sahil Sharma should have the space within it. Okay, so similarly you can do that. And now if I write Sahil plus 5, okay, now if I write Sahil plus 5, then what will be the output? Any ideas? There will be error. Why? Because string plus number cannot be done, and that's what it is being written here. Can only concatenate string to string, not integer, right? So if I comment it now, the type of Sahil is string, type of 5 is integer, right? Whatever was being told, it was true. So now if I want to add this 5, I have to convert it into string first. It can be done like this. You can put it in quotes and then you can add it with the word Sahil. So Sahil 5 will be printed. So this Sahil 5 is being printed because now this is being treated as strings. These two things have been concatenated. Now what is the type of 5.0? Type of 5.0 is float. Why? Because the point is there. Now this fraction part is there, right? Point 0, point 1, point 2. So when these things come up in the code, it means that it is floating number now. It's not just integer. Now let's do the type conversion. If I write float 99 plus 100, what will be the output? Think. So those of you who are writing 199.0, they are correct. Otherwise, if you're writing just 199, it is wrong. Why? Because when you are doing float 99, you're converting this 99, which is integer, into float. And then because Python 3 is having this thing that it converts implicitly. So when 100 is being added, 99.0 is being added to 100, which makes it 199.0 instead of just 199, right? And now let's try this one. A equal to 10, print type A. What is the type of A? Type of A should be integer. Then B equal to float of A. Now we are converting the integer 10 into float. It will be 10.0, right? So printing B will get us 10.0. So this is integer. This is 10.0. Now printing the type of B is float. Let's see the outputs. Yes. So the class int is being printed. 10.0 is the output for B. This is class float when we print the type of B. Now, if I do the integer division, print 9 by 2, what will be the output? Any guesses? It will be 4.5, right? Because Python 3 has this feature that it can handle the points. It can handle this fraction value which is being left, which was not being kept in Python 2.x. So if I write this print 99 by 100 in Python 2.x, it would have been 0. Why? Because the fraction part was not being kept. But in this, it will be 0.99, 0.99, right? So the output matters according to the Python versions also. You have to keep this in mind. So when we are writing this print 99 by 2, it will be 4.5. If I'm writing print 99 by 100, it is 0.99. Now let's do string conversions. String is equal to 321. And now I want to do string plus 1, right? So string plus 1 means print string plus 1. Just imagine that if you're working in a Python IDE, you have to write print statement, and within the function you have to put string plus 1. But in the in this IPython notebook, you can directly write string plus 1 and the operation will be done. So what will be the output? String plus 1. It will be error. Why? Because you can only concatenate string with string. Now 321 is a string here. It is not a number. And you are adding 1 to it, which is integer. It cannot be done. How can this be corrected? How can this be corrected? I have to convert string into integer first. Int string, type conversion, right? Plus 1. So the output will be 322. Now again, string equal to Sahil. Now print the integer version of string. What will be the output? Now because string is only string, it is not having an integer with base 10. So it is written here. So Sahil is a string and it is not an integer. That's why it cannot be converted into integer. So because it has to have some number in it, then only you can convert it into integer, the way we did it for 321. Strings cannot be converted into integers. This is the lesson here. Okay, I'm commenting it just to make the code clean. Now another thing is that we can also do the user input thing. Now just by writing this input function, name equal to input, who are you? So what is being done? Who are you will be printed for you, and it will wait. The compiler will wait for us to give the input. Whatever the input will be there, whatever the input will be there, accordingly the name will be printed in this. Welcome Sahil will be printed if I give the input as Sahil. Let me press shift enter. Now if I write Sahil here and press enter, welcome Sahil is being printed, right? It was waiting for me to enter the name. Now let's discuss about the commenting. So comments within the Python, you can do the commenting also as the when you're working in the code section. If you're writing as a text, so like this is a text section for me. I can directly write it even without this thing. Without this thing, the size will be small for comments in Python, and if I write hash with it, the size will be more for comments in Python. But yes, so this is a code section, right? Within the code section, if you want to write the comments, you have to use this hash. This is a comment in a code block. Multiple line comments are not supported by Python. So if you know that, if you have worked in C++ programming, so there is this multiple line comments with this thing. You can just write this and then this, and within this, whatever you write, maybe 30 lines are there, and then you close this thing. There are multiple comments, and those 30 lines will be considered as the comments. But within the Python, you have to every time comment a line. You cannot do multiple line comments here. Okay, and now why do we need commenting? Because of these three reasons. Describe what is going on within the code. You can write the comments to describe the code, right? Then the documentation is also helpful for writing the theoretical stuff. And then turn off a line of the code temporarily. Let's say that you're doing some debugging of the code. Maybe you can add a print statement and then write the comment version for it. And even you have seen that I have done some commenting before whenever the error was coming. So it is turning off the line. Now let's finish it off by making a program to convert Fahrenheit temperature into Celsius. So how to make this program? I will be taking some user input also. I will be using the formula. So the formula will be 5 by 9 into Fahrenheit minus 32. So within this code, I have written this: enter the temperature as Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is equal to input. What is the Fahrenheit temperature? And when the input will be given, accordingly, the Celsius conversion will be done. The value will be printed as it is. So let's see, if I run this code, what happens. It is asking that what is the Fahrenheit temperature. Let's say 98.6, which is normal human temperature. So the equivalent Celsius temperature is 37 Celsius. So let's revise few of the data types, and then we will continue with some other stuff which was left. Okay, so basic data types are integer. So these were all integers, right? And you will see that only the last number is being printed. It is because when we are printing the numbers like this without the print statement, it is always that the last value is always picked for the printing. Similarly, for float numbers, all the numbers are float here, which are having point in it, and the last number is being printed again. So we have seen integer, we have seen float, and there are strings. So this is my name, this is my city. So again, now the last string is being printed out of the two. Now this 123.45 is a string here. It is not a number. It is not a float number. It is a string because it is in quotes. So again here, now we are writing this price 1,25,000 rupees only. This is a string again, right? This is not just an integer, it is a string. And this is also a string. It is an empty string with the single quotes, but even which is empty, it is a string. It has been defined as a string in Python, right? Now there is also this data type which I did not discuss in the previous video: Boolean data type, true and false. So sometimes you will find that Boolean numbers 0 and 1 are there, and sometimes true and false is written. So if it is 1 written, when we are checking the condition, if it is saying that if it is equal to 1, according to the logical operator, so it will be true, right? And if it is equal to 0, it will be false. So these are the two Boolean data types. Let's see that how the things are being printed if we run these commands. So 10 less than 20, it is true, right? 20 less than 10, it is false. So true and false is being printed. Now there is this new data type, none. It does not print anything. It is just a placeholder to represent nothing. It is just one other new data type in Python, none. Okay, it will not print anything. Now let's see and revise this arithmetic operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, exponent, and remainder. So we had seen the maximum of them. Only float division was not covered in the last video. 10 plus 2, 12. 3.14 plus 3, it will be 6.14, right? So it is converted to float now. Now concatenation can be done when we are adding two strings. It is concatenated. Subtraction, 10 minus 2. Multiplication, 3 into 2. When I do this string multiply 5, what will happen? Now because we are multiplying a string, multiple copies of the string will be generated. Sahil will be printed 5 times. Now exponent 2 exponent 5, it will be 32, right? 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, 2 raised by 5. Now this, what is this? This is parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So it is the precedence written here. So what will be the output of this one? First of all, parenthesis, it is not available here. Exponent is this one, 2 raised by 2 is 4. Then multiplication, right? But for multiplication, you need to do this division. So 5 into 4, 20. 20 plus 2, 22, minus 1, 21. So the output will be 21. Division, 23 by 5, 4.6. And what is flow division? The number will be flowed. If the output was 4.6, now it will be 4. 0.6 will be cancelled. Assignment operators. So we have already seen the equal operator, which is assignment operator, but addition assignment operator we have not seen. So it is one of the compound assignment operator. Let's see how these things work. Equality operator, example is 3 equal to 2. In this case, both of these numbers are not equal, so the output will be false. 5 equal to 10 by 2. So 10 by 2 is 5. 5 equal to 5 is true, right? Now this is a compound statement here, which we saw this compound assignment operator. Plus equal to, how it works? X equal to 1, x plus equal to 1. Now x plus equal to 1 means, it means x equal to x plus 1. It is similar to writing x equal to x plus 1. Okay. So the output will be obviously 2. Sahil equal to Sahil. Now it is equality being checked. Now because each character is equal, the output will be true. But if even one character is different than the previous one, now 80% of the string is exactly same, but only one character is different out of 5. In this case, the output will be false. Now what will be printed on this? Now these are the Boolean values which are being checked for equality. True equal to true, it is true, right? False equal to false is true. True equal to false is false. False equal to true is false. So the outputs will be true, true, false, false. Right? Okay. Now equality can also be checked like this. Okay. It is not that every time we have to write x equal to 5. It can be 5 equal to x. It works both ways. So if x is equal to 5 and we print 5 equal to x, the output will be true. Why? Because 5 equal to x is 5 only, so it will be true. Now 10 equal to 10 and AA equal to AA. So this is example of one of the logical operator, right? And is one of the logical operator, and these two individual statements are being checked for equality. True and true means true. The output will be true only. Inequality operator. Now this Sahil is not equal to this Sahil, right? So this is not equal to inequality operator. So the answer will be true. 1 is not equal to 1, false. I hope that you are understanding what I'm explaining here. Okay. So what will be the outputs for these? 10 greater than 0, true. 1 greater than equal to 10, false. 1 less than 0 is false, 1 less than equal to 0 is false. So the outputs are true, false, false, false. Now let's see logical operators. There are three types of logical operators in Python: and, or, not. And is true if all the operands are true, or is true if one of the operands is true, not means if the operand is false. Now let's see. Guess the outputs here. Okay. Age is equal to 30, salary is equal to 50,000. Now what will be the result here when printed? So because there is a and, these two conditions will be checked one by one, right? So age greater than 25, obviously 30 is greater than 25, it is true. Salary greater than 50,000, salary is equal to 50,000, not greater than 50,000, so this part is false. So true and false, the answer will be false, so this result will be false. Then if age is greater than 25, salary is greater than 50,000, let's make it equal to 50,000, right? The result will be, in this case, true. In this case it will be true. Why? Because now equal is there, greater than equal to 50,000, so equality is true here. So this is true, age is greater than 25 is true. Even if there was and, this condition would have been true. But if I remove equal to here, now this part is false, similar to the previous one, right? But now we have a or here. It means at least one condition out of these two should be true, right? So this is true now. Why? Because one of it was true. So the previous answer was false. This one is true. Result equal to true, and not result means the complement of result, the opposite of it, right? So this true, then not result is false. So the outputs are false, true, false. Let's check. False, true, false, right? Now let's see the built-in functions. Now there are some built-in functions in Python. And how to define a function? Function is a recipe to get the work done. Okay. So keywords are call and invoke, then arguments and return value. So these are the kind of three keywords which are important to understand in terms of functions. Now let's see. So this is a string, right? I am an Indian. This is a string. If I print it, the string will be printed. But now if I want to check the length of this string, I can directly use this len function. Now because this is a round bracket, within round bracket we are writing this I am an Indian string. Now length of this string will be printed. Now what is the length? The length is 14. Why? I am an Indian. 1, 2, 2, 6. It is equal to 11, but there are 3 spaces also. So the spaces are also being counted, right? 11 plus 3, 14. Now if I write str30, it means that this 30, which is an integer, will be converted into string because typecasting is being done here, right? So this is also one of the inbuilt function of Python. Int 10. So this 10 was a string and we are converting it into integer. So the output will be 10 as integer. Now again, what will be the outputs for these two? These two look different, but the outputs will be 10.0 for both of them. Why? Because initially 10 was integer and converting integer into float will give us 10.0. Again, converting this string into float will print 10.0. Okay. So we have to take care about this. Now, what are the types of these three? So type 10 is integer, this is float, and this is string. So the outputs will be int, float, and string. What will be the output for this? Now we have seen the equality operator. Type of 10 equal to type of 11. Decode this now. Type of 10 is integer. Type of 11 is integer. Both are equal. So the answer will be true. Again, type of 10 equal to type of Sahil. So this is integer, but the right hand side is string. So the output will be false because integer is not equal to string, right? Now custom functions. Now we have to write our own functions. Then how to do it? Let's see. So in the last video, we had done a program to convert Fahrenheit into Celsius, right? By using a formula. Now we are defining our own function with a return value. Let's see. So there are few things to take care here. One is this, that def, define, is being used as a keyword to define a function. Now this function name can be anything. Now because I am going to pass a value for this Celsius, right? So what I can do is I can write just the variable name. It can be C also, it can be CEL also, and it can be Celsius also. So anything can be written here as a variable name. Now logic can be put here. So answer equal to Celsius into 1.8, right? And we have to return answer plus 32. So everyone knows the formula is 9 by 5 into Celsius plus 32. This is the formula. So that's being done here. 9 by 5 is 1.8 only. So Celsius into 1.8 is being calculated in the variable answer. And then while returning, we are also adding 32 while sending the answer, right? From wherever the call came. So this is kind of call by value. If you consider C programming or C++, so you must have heard about call by value. So this is kind of a call by value function, because we will be passing a value in the Celsius variable in the C2F function, and that value will be used within the function to calculate the answer, and that answer will be sent for the printing purposes. Now let's run the function, right? So this function is defined now. C2F function is defined. Now, if I use this print C2F 37, the output will be 98.6. So this 37 Celsius is equal to 98.6 Fahrenheit. Now, similarly, if I pass 23, the equivalent Fahrenheit value will be printed. Now you can pass even a list of numbers within this function one by one using a for loop or something like that, if you understand this. And every time that value will be sent to the function C2F and the output will be given, right? Print C2F Celsius equal to 23. So this can also be done. We were directly passing 23 value. We can also pass it as Celsius equal to 23. So it means that we are giving the variable name also along with the value. This technique is helpful when we have multiple arguments. So this Celsius is one of the argument in this function, right? So this is argument, and this is the define function. These are the logics, and there is a return statement. So the argument, define, and return are the three keywords that are being used within this custom function, right? So, okay. Now let's say that, let's run this later on. Let's see that what happens if I pass C2F function without any value. Let's see. Error. Why error? Because it says that missing one required positional argument equal to Celsius, right? So now this thing can be corrected if we give a default value. It means that while giving the argument of Celsius, we can give a value of 0, Celsius equal to 0. While defining the function, we are again defining the function, right? And then calculating the answer and returning the answer. But in this case, if I do this, it allows me to even pass C2F function without an argument. Okay. So if I run this now, the answer will be 32. Why? Because Celsius equal to 0 has been taken. So 0 plus 32 is 32. Okay. Now let's look into the string methods. Let's say that this is the profession equal to teacher. So this teacher is a string here. Profession is my string variable. So profession is equal to teacher. Now if I use this function profession dot upper function converts my string into uppercase. Okay, so that teacher will be printed as uppercase. But now here one concept comes up. Concept is that this string is immutable. This string is immutable. It does not change. This profession dot upper function is making another copy of that string and then printing the uppercase teacher here. But original profession is same, right? Original teacher is same. That string has not been updated. So if I do it for the lowercase, my teacher string will be converted into lowercase. And what is meant by swap case? Swap case means that uppercase will be becoming smaller and small case will be becoming upper, right? So this T will become small, all other characters will become uppercase. So this swap case gives us the output as this. Now string is immutable, I have already told you. Immutable is equal to incapable of change. Mutable means capable of change. Now everyone knows that COVID mutant is there, mutant 2, right? And there is a saying that even mutant 3 can come. So mutant means something which is capable of change. And over time, strings cannot be changed. Immutable is the word, that string is immutable. Why? Because it is incapable of change. You can make a copy of it, but you cannot change the original string. Obviously, when I say that you cannot change the string, it means that using these functions, using these string methods, dot upper, dot lower, dot swap case, obviously if you are changing one character out of the full string, that can be updated, but the immutable here means that using the string methods you cannot change. Now if I print the profession, which was the original string, it will be same, teacher, without any change in the casing of characters. Okay, now there is another function, dot title. It means that in all the words, first character will be capitalized. It is kind of like writing the title of the book, writing the title of the thesis. So my name is Sahil Sharma. First letter is capitalized every time. Okay, but capitalize is only capitalizing the first character of the full string. Now if I write this Sahil Sharma dot title, it means that I am trying to capitalize the first letter of the name. So this particular thing I have written again. Why? Because this function will be very helpful for you. Let's say that you have a data set of 1,000 names, and might be that the names are not written according to this format, that first letter of the first name and second name is capitalized. So you can just combine that thing. You can make it into single unit, and I will teach you that how you can do that. And then dot title function can be applied. Let's say that there is a list of names, and you can put a dot title on the list. So all the names within the list will be capitalized with the first character for first and second name. Now let's see profession equal to this. So there are spaces in front also and at back also. So this is function lstrip. It means that the left side of the teacher, so this spacing will be stripped off. Okay, the output will be teacher and then space. Similarly, now see that after teacher there is a space here. And again, if you see that for right strip, it means the right side of the space will be deleted and left side will be still there. Now if you want to remove both, dot strip function works fine, and both the left and right side will be removed. So the extra spaces will be removed by using strip function. Now there is this function called replace. Replace means that within the teacher, within the original this word teacher, I want to replace a character. Let's say I want to replace this E with a star. Now this is how I can do it. Profession dot replace E comma star, because I want to replace the E with this star. So whatever character you want to replace, it has to be at the first place, and with which you have to replace, it has to be at the second place. If you run this now, you will see that at place of E you have a star. Okay, so this was the original profession string with spaces on left and right. Now method chaining is one of the technique. It means that you can replace E with a star and then use strip function. So you saw that previously there were spaces on left and right of this teacher with stars, right? If you do a strip on that, you will get the only string where no spaces are there, no extra spaces are there. Okay, now there are other functions also. Let's see. So I have passed this variable city is equal to Chandigarh. Then now let's see what happens. City dot starts with ch. it means that my city is starting with ch, so it is true, right? And it starts with sdgad, it is not true because it is starting with ch, right? So it will be false. And if I write it as starts with capital ch, now again it will be false because small c is there, not the capital one. Ends with gud, true. Ends with sdfa, false. And in a city, now it means that we are trying to find the string within the city. So in is one of the keyword here, right? And within the spellings of Chandigarh you have a and. Okay, so the output will be true. dd in city, false. z z not in city. Now Chandigarh does not has z, right? Or the z. So z not in city, it is true, right? Because z is not in the spellings of Chandigarh. Ch not in city. Now this is false because ch is there in city. Okay. Now let's see if elif and else. Now if I use this, if 1 equal to 1, print yes, right? So now if statement checks the equality here. If 1 is equal to 1, then print this. So if the condition is true, you have to do this work. Now in this case, yes will be printed. Now let's see this one. So if 1 equal to 2, obviously this is false. So this will not be printed, right? Elif is a combination of else if. So elif means in continuation with that previous if. Uh, if 2 equal to 3, now else if is equivalent to, now elif is equal to equivalent of else if in C or C++ programming. So elif is kind of else if. Now if 2 is equal to 3, now this is also false, this will not run. But else this, now because these two conditions were false, else statement will be true for this. Now print both conditions are false, so the output will be both conditions are false. Now let's see loops, for and while loop. Let's say that we have a sequence 1 to 5. Okay, this is a list. I will come to list. For now you can think of this sequence as a array, right? So sequence equal to 1 2 3 4 5. Now for I in sequence, print I plus I. So it means that I is a variable here which can be anything, it can be your name also. Okay, you can write here I, a b c d, something, anything you think which is right as a variable name. So for I in this sequence, which is 1 2 3 4 5, print I plus I. So every variable will be traversed one by one and addition will be done for each variable. So 1 2 3 4 5, so the outputs will be 2 4 6 8 10 because you are doing I plus I. Okay, so you are doing it in a sequence. I plus I will give you this output. Now I equal to 1. Now initially you have I1. While I less than 5, within this while loop, it means that within this while loop which is having the indentation, so because print and this I statement has the exact same indentation, it means these two statements are part of this while only. Print I is stri, I equal to I plus 1. So what is being done here? I is equal to 1, I is less than 5, true, which is true. So it means these two statements will run. I is stri. Stri means you had that 1 and I is 1. Okay. So I equal to 2 now. After this, when while will be checked, so that looping means it will go back to the condition. So 2 is less than 5, right? So I is 2 will be printed. Again, I is 3 will be printed. I is 4 will be printed, but I is 5 will not be printed. So I is 1, 2, I is 4, but I is 5 will not be printed. Why? Because I less than 5 when I is equal to 5 will be false. That's why only up to 4 are being printed. Now let's do this one. Let's say that we have this x equal to 0 1 2 3 4, right? And this is a list here. So print that list. Now that list can be printed by using this range function also. List range 5. It means that range 5 means start from 0 and go till 5 without including 5. Okay, 5 is not to be included. So starting from 0, print the first 5 numbers. So that's why 0 1 2 3 4 will be printed. Okay, so rather than writing this number again and again, you can use this range 5. So 5 numbers from 0, it will be 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, now range 1 comma 5, it means inclusive of this 1 but exclusive of this 5. It means that 1 2 3 4 will be printed. For I in range 5, print high. It means that range 5 means 0 1 2 3 4, 5 numbers starting from 0. Range 5 means starting from 0, 5 numbers has to be taken, 0 1 2 3 4. But print high, so 5 times high will be printed. Now coming to list comprehension, so we have this x equal to list of range 1 to 6. It means the numbers will be printed as 1 to 5. Now for using this for loop, what will be the output which will be printed? It will be, so initially we have a empty list. I will explain list in detail, but for now you can think this as a array. Okay, x equal to empty. For I in x, which means 1 to 5, x dot append I exponent 2. So you have to square every time the value of I and append it into the output. So this array or list will be updated every time, and then after the for loop is over, when you are out of the for loop, you have to print the output. So what will be done? 1 2 3 4 5, every time the square of it will be done. So 1 4 9 16 and 25 will be printed in this output. Okay, now you can reduce this to a single liner. How? This is called list comprehension. It means that you have to do iris per 2 for I in x. So this was 1 to 6. Okay, 1 to 5 was there. And when you have x as 1 2 3 4 5, for that for loop, you have to implement this. So within this list, you can do in a single line same thing which was being done in the for loop in the last 4 lines. So these 4 lines can be shortened to this singular line, and the output will be given as 1 4 9 16 25. Okay, so we have 4 types of data structures which we will be covering in this video. They are lists, dictionaries, tuples, and sets. So let's start with the list. So this is the first data structure which we are covering, list. So lists are the mutable data structures that hold an ordered collection of elements. So what does this mean? Whatever the sequence you will put for each value, it will be constant. The sequence will not change unless you replace a value. It works same as that of an array in C, C++. So list is a mutable data structure with ordered collection of elements. It means, now what is mutable? Mutable means changeable. So the elements can be changed, it can be updated, and overall list will be affected. We saw in the last video that strings do not get affected, they are immutable, but lists are mutable, and this list data structure can be changed by changing a particular value in it. So let's begin. So in the first cell, you can see I have put this square bracket and I have put 1 2 3 4 in. So these are the 4 objects in order. This order is constant now. Let's run this. So 1 2 3 4 is printed. Now again, if I do it for Boolean values, true, true, false, false, these values will be same as it is. Now let's define a student list with names A, B, and C. Let's say that there are 3 students A, B, and C, and that list is being printed. We can also find the length of a list by using this length function, which is an inbuilt function of Python. So it will be printing 3. Why? Because there are 3 names, right? Let's say that these are the 3 names of the students. So 3 is being printed, the length of the list is being printed. So this is an empty list. Let's say you want to run a program. Let's say you are working with a for loop and the values will be updated and you want to store each value in a list. So initially you might want to have a empty list. So this is how you can define an empty list. Okay. Obviously you will have to give it in a variable name. Let's say a equal to this blank list, and then you can append every time within that a, the value will be appended from empty list to whatever amount of values you want to put into it. So let's say that we have a list prime ministers equal to this: Dr. Manmohan Singh, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So these are the two names initially I am putting in the Prime Minister's list. So if I append Shri Narendra Modi, this will be the third value within the list. Now, if I print the Prime Ministers, so the Prime Ministers list is being updated, right? All the names are there. Now, if I implement a pop function with it, dot pop function, what it does, it prints the last value and also it removes it. So similar to stacks, in stacks, we remove the top element, right? And it is also removed, it is also printed. So two things are done. Similarly, if I use a pop function here, Shri Narendra Modi is being printed, but it has been removed from the list now. If you print the list now, it will be not having this name and it will have only initial two names, which we have initially. So if I want to remove a particular value, let's say I want to remove the first name. So what I can do is I can use this dot remove function, right? Dot remove function with exact value. So if I do this, the first name in the list will be removed in this case and only one name will be left. So this is how we manipulate this. Now remember this. If I write this foo in foodie, it means that this string is being tested to be in this one. If it is matching, it will print true, else false. In this case, it will be true because FOO is present in foodie. Now, if I make a list of Sunday and Monday, right? Days equal to list of Sunday and Monday. Now I want to check if Sunday is available in days. Days is a list here, so it will be true. But with if I write Sunday with capital S, it is false. Why? Because capital S Sunday is not available in days, so it will be false. Similarly, if you write Saturday not in days, now not in means obviously it should not be there. So Saturday was not in the list, so it will be true. Sunday not in days, false. Why? Because Sunday was there in days list. Now mixed data types in list. So list has this property that you can also keep the order, but also you can use different types of data within the list. So I have an integer as well as I have a name, the string. So integer and string are together in this list. Now ideally list cannot be a variable name. So let's say I wanted to write this list as list list. Notice the color change. It means it is a predefined keyword. Instead, we will write something else. So my list equal to this and then printing the list. Now, if I change this value, my list first value at 0th location to be 20, what will happen? So the values will be updated. Only the 10 will be updated to 20. And if now you print the list, it will have 20 and Sahil in it. Okay. Now nesting in list. How to work with the nesting. So nest list can be 10, 20 and 30 and 20 are in itself a list. Now there are three values in this list. 10 and 20 are two individual integers. The third object in this list is 30, 40, which is a list in itself. Okay. Now if I define this, now let's say that I am writing this nest list 2 and 1. So this looks like a 2D array, right? So this means that I have to reach this location 2. It means 10, 20 and this 30, 40. So 30, 40 is 2, right? And 1 means within this 30 is 0, 40 is 1. So the output will be 40. So I hope you understood what is being told here. Moving ahead. Now let's talk about the index positions and the slicing. It applies for both the list and string. Let's see. Now let's say that Iron Man is equal to Iron Man as a string here. Within this, notice that the indexing starts from 0. If I want to print I in this, I will have to write Iron Man 0, right? Only I will be printed as it is. And then accordingly 1 to 6. Okay. So if I write length of Iron Man, so this string has a length of 7. There are 7 characters, right? The index might be from 0 to 6, but the length will be 7. Now, if I want to print Iron Man 1, it means that within this, I was at 0 location, 1 was R, you can see here also, right? So R will be printed in this case. Now let's understand this thing. If I write -1, it means start from the end and move one location. So what will be the value? It will be n, because arrangement has n in the end. Similarly, if I want to print the sixth location, so it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, again n. Length of Iron Man was 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. So again, Iron Man 6 is n. Iron Man minus 7. Starting from the end, move 7 locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you will be moving from n to eventually I of Iron Man. So I will be printed in this case. And Iron Man 0 means I only, the first value. Say n, 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 and I. So these are the 5 values which are being printed. Okay, moving ahead. So let's say that I have this list of TV series: Flash, Arrow, Grey's Anatomy, Elementary, and Sherlock. So let's work with this list with TV series names. So length is 5, obviously. Now, if I want to print TV series 0, it will be the first name, right? So Flash will be printed in this case. If I write TV series minus 1, it means the first value starting from end. So it is Sherlock, and minus 2 means Elementary. Okay. Okay. Printing these, it should be Flash, Sherlock, and Elementary, right? Moving ahead, if I want to print this 1:4, it means that start from 1, including the 1th value, but till 4. So you do not have to include the 4, you have to keep it exclusive. So 1, 2, 3 will be printed. Okay, let's see 1, 2, 3 names. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, Arrow, Grey's Anatomy, and Elementary should be the output. Let's see. Okay, moving ahead again now 3 to 5. So include third but exclude 5. So 3 and 4 will be printed. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Elementary and Sherlock will be printed in this case. Iron Man 0 to 3. It means within Iron Man, which was a string we had allocated initially. So capital I was the 0th location, RON. So IRON 0, 1, 2, but not the 3. So only IRO will be printed in this case. Now, if you do not want to give the starting value, it will start from the first, but it will go till this number, excluding it. So 0, 1, 2 again IRO will be printed, right? So within TV series also, that list, it is valid. 0, 1, 2, the first 3 names of the TV series will be printed. And in this case, we have not given the ending value. It means starting from 2, you have to go till end. So Grey's Anatomy, Elementary, and Sherlock will be printed. So if you want to print the full TV series list, you can put a colon without the starting and the end value. The full TV series will be printed. Now 2 colon minus 2. So 2 is the starting point, 0, 1, 2. Okay. And minus 2 is the end point. Minus 2 means minus 1, minus 2. So this is the end point. Obviously, you do not have to include this. So only this name will be printed. Let's see. Only one name is being printed. Now moving to the second type of data structure, dictionaries. So this is unordered. So in this, we have to work with the key value pair. I will just show the example. But in this case, unordered collection is there. So even when you have allocated 5, let's say 5 names in the dictionary with key and value, if you print the full dictionary, it is not guaranteed that the sequence will remain same while printing. That is creating the associations between the two pieces of data. So we will see that how this key value pair works. So let's say that Rohit Sharma has his jersey number as 45. So this is a key value pair, and this Rohit Sharma is the key value is 45. And obviously value can be same. Let's say that this was a case of food menu in a restaurant. So let's say this was a rupee. This was the price of a food. So 45 can be price of multiple things, right? So value can be duplicate, but key has to be unique. Okay, so key must be unique and value can be repeated. So let's generate this dictionary in which I have named it as jersey number. I have taken 4 batsmen with their jersey numbers as key value pair. So let's define it. Now, if I print this dictionary, this will be printed. right? So if I print the length of this dictionary now, it looks like 8 values, but they are only 4 in dictionary because it is a key value pair. So key value is being considered as 1. So length is 4. So jersey number of Rohit Sharma will be printed in this case. But now if I want to print jersey number of Yuvraj Singh, obviously this name is not in the list. So there will be error, right? So what to do now? Jersey number Yuvraj Singh equal to 11, right? Okay, so let's do this one. So this key value has been added to the dictionary. Now if you print it, dictionary will not retain the order, but there will be 5 names now. So MS Dhoni is at the top, but I did not put MS Dhoni at the top in the list. So initially this was at the 4th number. Even here this came first. So yeah, the order is not being maintained. It's okay. Now this has been added, but let's say that I realized that Yuvraj Singh's jersey number was not 11, it was 12. So to edit it, I can just write jersey number Yuvraj Singh equal to 12. That value will be replaced. 11 will be replaced by 12. Now if I print it, it will be showing the number as 12. Okay. So this is how the key value pairs can be manipulated. Now if I pop MS Dhoni out of the list, so it will be removing that key value pair from the dictionary, and it will also print the value, not the key, but only the value of that key. Now if I print the jersey num, so these 4 names are there now. Now let's check of the presence of key within the dictionary. So Rohit Sharma was in the dictionary, so true. Now in the next 2 commands, we are also again checking in and not in. So Bumrah was not in the jersey number. So Bumrah in jersey number will give us false. But I have written Pandya not in jersey number. It means it is true. Why? Because Pandya was not in the dictionary. So jersey num dot values. Now only the values will be printed. Okay. And if you want to check if that value is there, you can do it by using this jersey num dot values function. So 45 is there, so the answer will be true. Now let's move to the tuples. So tuples means that it works like a list and it is immutable, right? Immutable means it cannot be changed. The sequence value will not be changed, and even the value cannot be replaced. So instead of square brackets, you can use this round bracket to generate a tuple. So t equal to 920, all the 10 values are there. Now because these are immutable, if I want to replace the 0th value, if I give it a new, it will give us error. Why? Because this does not support the assignment. The assignment is not supported in this, so the value cannot be replaced. Now let's move to the last data structure, sets. So these are the unordered set of unique elements. So in curly brackets, we have to give a set, right? So 1, 2, 3, it is printed as it is. But in this case, even if I have put the duplicate values in it, then also it will give me only the unique values. So this is how sets work. Only the unique values will be taken. That's it. Thank you for listening. That's all for data structures in Python.